Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Friday, January 8th, 2016. Yesterday, January 7th, in the morning time, there was a story out of Paris, France, about an Islamic man possibly tied to ISIS attacking a police station. Now, today, we get a story out of Philadelphia, a man attacking a police officer and saying he did it for ISIS. So back to back days of propaganda involving police officers and the blame being placed on ISIS. If you're new to my channel, what I show is how all of these attacks are done by a numerological code. They're done this way because they're planned out, and they're planned by the Freemasons who control our media, who control our government, who control our police departments, and who operate by this code, almost as if a religion. So in a moment, we're going to take apart this story. I'm going to show you how it's all numerological tributes from the age of the officer to the number of shots fired. Before we do that, we're going to watch the mainstream news coverage. I also want you to notice this subheadline. Stolen police gun used in ambush-style attack, official says. So think about this, Truth Seeker. It's a police officer shot with another police officer's weapon. If this is a real shooting, it is an inside job, and this officer was targeted for a specific reason, which we'll get to. Let's watch the mainstream coverage, then we'll take the propaganda apart piece by piece. Here we go.
We had the suspect upstairs, the homicide unit, talk to him. Right away, he didn't have anything to say, but then he stated that he pledges his allegiance to Islamic State. He follows Allah, and that is the reason he was called upon to do this.
For what reason? What was his...
That he just kept on echoing those sentiments, and he wouldn't give us anything more than that. The FBI, in conjunction with homicide detectives and our Homeland Security, they're executing search warrants in his property in Upper Darby, and also one in Southwest Philadelphia, not too far from where the shooting took place at. We'll go in and we'll see what we find, but right now we don't have anything as of yet.
Why are they being called out so? Why are they being called out so quickly?
Why is?
Why are they?
Well, I mean, the totality of this circumstance. I mean, you had an attempted assassination on a police officer. You have this individual saying he did it because of his religious beliefs, and because of that and what's going on, around the country. Everybody came forward very, very quickly to find out the answers behind a lot of questions that I'm sure you guys have.
Okay, so we just saw that clip. The man is quick to get out the propaganda, let people know this shooting was by an Islamic man who did it for Allah, who did it for his religion. This is the post 9/11 agenda, giving people constant propaganda that Islam is this dangerous religion. Let's watch one more news clip before we break it down. See how ridiculous this is. I mean, this is an impossible scenario right here. Another one that they're trying to sell the American public. Here we go.
Male in question going towards police officer Hartnett, already firing.
Look at how this story is made of motion capture pictures and someone telling us what's happening. How many times have we seen this before? He's already firing. I don't see any evidence that there's any gunshot. There's no broken glass on the ground. There should be broken glass around his feet. They're just telling us what they want us to believe. Got to stay away from that believe word. That's the worst word I know. To believe in something. Stop believing. Start thinking. The people who prey on us, who give us this propaganda, they know we're a bunch of believers and not a bunch of thinkers.
Second shot, he is literally inside that car. He's got his arm extended, firing at Officer Hartnett. I'm absolutely amazed that Officer Hartnett is here with us today. This male fired at least 11 shots from a 9mm at close range. As you can see, he begins to run away, continues to fire, even as he flees away. This shot right here is absolutely one that demonstrates...
Notice how they're not showing you the video of this. They just want you to know all about this story, this propaganda, but they just want to give you still images and tell you what's going on. This guy just got shot at more than 13 times, and look at him out of the car, pursuing him like an officer. Bullshit.
His valiance and his courage and bravery. He exits his police vehicle, starts chase despite being seriously injured, returns fire. He's able to strike the male at some point in time, and again, his fellow officers were able to apprehend the male.
That is what the propaganda looks like at this day and age. Completely unbelievable stories spoon-fed to us for an agenda. And, you know, it's really been the same thing since September 11th. What happened on September 11th was impossible by what we were told. You know, the way the buildings fell down, the way the planes melted into the buildings. They're just constantly telling us what to believe and not allowing us to think. And those of us who do think, we get shouted down and labeled and criticized. Again, the shooting was with a stolen police officer's gun. Whose? Who lost their gun? Anyhow, the officer shot at today is 33 years old. I'm like a broken record with this. You know, I must have 100 videos on here documenting phony shootings of police officers that are 33 years old. Why are they so often 33? Because this is a number of the Freemasons who believe in conquering through dividing, which is exactly what they do by teaching people to be fearful of Islam and Islamic people, playing this spiritual war, Christianity versus Islam. Religion, one of the things we're most divided over. People all fighting over their fake religions, their Masonic religions. Anyhow, police, a word with 33 gematria, just like masonry. 33-year-old police officer today. If you notice, the car has an 18 on it. Number 18. Why is that interesting? It's because it factors into today's date numerology. Today is January 8th, which looks a little bit like 18, but it's also a date with 18 numerology. And when you factor 18, it factors into 6 plus 6 plus 6. The word officer in Pythagorean gematria opens with OFF. O's the 15th letter. 1 plus 5 is 6. F is the 6th letter. F is the 6th letter. When you add all these numbers together, 6 plus 6 plus 9 plus 3 plus 5 plus 9, it sums to 44, the kill number. And officers, they do a lot of killing, they get killed. The word military also equals 44. No coincidence. Think about all the military that come and be police officers. And, you know, part of the reason I'm doing this work is because I want more people to start thinking like me. I've seen what a joke it is to be a military personnel in this nation or to be a police officer. If you allow yourself to become either one of those things, you join the evil empire. We are not a good nation. We are a nation of tyrants and tyranny. We are a nation of oppressed, enslaved people. And when you go and join the military, you become part of that oppressing force. You become a soldier of the tyrants. And that's the exact same thing you do when you become a police officer. Because all police officers do in this nation is uphold immoral laws and make the nation worse in doing so. There's no such thing as a good police officer. There's some that are better than others, but they're all part of the problem. Every police officer should resign. Every military personnel should resign. Step down. Yeah, you might need to go to prison. Too bad. You shouldn't have signed up for the evil empire's army. You know, these are the consequences of bad decisions. The mainstream media reporting is saying that the man, Mr. Archer, Edward Archer, shot 13 times, and I'll show you why they reported 13. The officer shot is named Jesse Hartnett. The name Jesse has gematria of 13. 13 shots at Jesse. Hartnett has gematria of 34. The name Jesse Hartnett sums to 47 and 65. And this is interesting in light of yesterday's shooting in Paris, France, which we'll get to. Jesse Hartnett, that gematria of 65, also connects to Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a gematria of 65. The shooting is in Philadelphia. Yesterday's shooting, a very similar story in Paris, France, also blamed on ISIS. Paris, France equals 56 and 65. ISIS equals 56, the reflection of 65. France in simple English gematria equals 47. Think about the United States and France. Allies, nations that share red, white, and blue flags. These are Masonic nations. Think about how many founders were spending time over in France. We don't live in a sovereign nation. We live in a one world order. You know, people try to tell you that's something that's coming. No, 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 no. That's something that's always been here and grows more and more each day. It's a one world order ruled by the Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jesuits. These are the gang members. The name Jesse in simple English gematria also sums to 58, like the number for Freemasonry. Oftentimes in these police officer shootings, it's one of the numbers coded in. No surprise, because again, all this is put on by the Freemasons. The name Hartnett has gematria of 106. Earlier this year in Philadelphia, there was the train wreck traveling 106 miles per hour, supposedly, even though no train of that type can travel that fast. Just another bullshit story by the numbers. 106 is the number of prophecy, but it has to do with man-made prophecy by the Zionists. The nation of Israel was established on a date with 106 numerology, and you can go open up a number of pro-Zionist texts, and you'll see oftentimes the date November 29th, 1947, the date Israel was recognized by a 33-member vote by the United Nations. They refer to it as a date of prophecy. Finally, prophecy fulfilled. Prophecy equals 106. November 29th, 1947, numerology of 106. Also the 333rd day of the year, approved by a 33-member vote. Again, one world order, Masonic Zionist agenda. Each day is just more propaganda that fills us in on the story. Philadelphia in simple English gematria sums to 101, just like the word assassin. They're saying this man tried to assassinate the officer. He had him targeted. It's police officer, homicide detective James Clark, who's filling us in on the story. Notice that James Clark has gematria 44, just like the word officer, just like the name kill. Common coding in these shooting hoaxes. And also it's common coding in your police departments because a lot of these police officers really are Masonic men. And all they're about is power, authority, and their little secret society. You know? Departments all over the nation. Here in the little town I live in Washington State, the police department's directly across the street from the Freemason Lodge, and that's true in many other towns as well. They said the shooting happened at 11:30. Again, a very common time for these police officer shootings. What's key is the 113 sequence. It's the Scottish Rite Freemasons that dominate our government and police departments. Scottish has gematria of 113, as do words such as mainstream, dishonest, perjury, green screen. No coincidence here. In the Jewish Talmud, it says that a Jew can circumvent a Gentile, which is a non-Jew, by lying to them. And these Masons, these Zionists, they've been running the show for a long time. There's no doubt they created our language, and they created it by this numerological code. This number is put before our eyes often. It is an insult to we the Goyim, the non-Jews. You know, it's okay to lie to us. We're not worthy of real information. Here he is, fat police officer. No surprise there. They usually are fat. Hartnett, 33 years old. The man fired 13 times at Jesse. The shooter's name, Edward Archer, has gematria of 63. This is interesting because yesterday's Paris story, the similar one, came on the anniversary of the Charlie Hebdo shooting, also a hoax. Charlie Hebdo equals 63, so does Paris in simple English gematria. I don't think this is a coincidence. I think this is a connection to yesterday's story. You know, 2 days, back-to-back propaganda, ISIS-related men shooting at police officers. And then on the front page of CNN, if this isn't enough bullshit, they got some more up in the top left. El Chapo again. And look at how they emphasize El Chapo. They do it every single time. El Chapo, El Chapo. I'm at 15 minutes. Until next time, Truth Seeker.